All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Friday afternoon as we're going to be diving into Bitcoin, gold, silver, stocks, commodities, looking for live entries, baby. Make sure to smash up the likes. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus, Yeshua the Messiah. I pray you are all blessed in many ways. We're asking the question today, is the Bitcoin pump legit? We're going to be talking right about it. Shout out to everybody in the chat right now. What is going on, guys? This is pretty critical. Bitcoin getting a bit of a rise. Are we going to come up and hit our $74,000 resistance? You know, I'm going to be telling you exactly what I'm looking at, exactly how I am trading it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all. Let's see here. Cool. All right, well, let's dive right in, guys. Honestly, I've been scalping some Bitcoin today. A little bit of scalps going on. I've taken a few trades on this fine day, locking in some gains. All right, just a few. I've got a few open here, testing out some new juicy indicators that I'm working on, guys, to try and figure out the secret juice. Really a lot of testing going on right now. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the house. Let's see who we got in here right now. First of all, we got Daniel. He says, hi, Jay. Hello, Daniel. Shout out to Jay Becker. Good afternoon. All God bless. Hit them likes. Join the Casper crew. Shout out to BBL Hotline. Business Info 374, Win Retrace Market. Pure Perp Cap, says Canny Talks. Satoshi says, it's time for BTC to be bullish, baby. Heart-shaped rocket, red countdown, liftoff, red-shaped rocket. Shout out to Sahil Patel and Chifas. Alt season, we'll take a look at all this stuff. Maybe setting up for a little bit of an alt season. And when we say alt season, you know, I do believe we're in a bear market. When short, well, honestly, guys, yeah, let's talk about that, because I've been taking, like today, I've taken a few scalp shorts today. I took a scalp short from up here. I took a scalp short from up here. And I still have some open, as you can see. And I've taken a few before today, as you can see, as I'm just testing out some things, really, guys. I'm really just testing out some things here with these scalp trades. But yeah, let's jump into the dang price action. All right. First of all, I think it's very important that we understand that the Bitcoin price, at least on the daily time frame, is well, let's put on market Cipher B. All right. We've gotten our big bottom, and the major level of resistance that we have right now, guys, is going to be this: the back test of our previous lows. All right. We have a daily order block that's right around 76 to 77 it begins. All right. We also have the previous low from April 2025, as well as, you know, you could just say this $74,000 all-time high that we made back in March 2024. That is going to be a very key level for Bitcoin. I do have to say also that we have a very squeezable looking environment right now, where we do have a series of highs that look like they want to be squeezed. All right, I don't think these guys up here at 73, at 74 are going to be able to be chilling in their shorts without getting some kind of pain coming their way. And you can see we are breaking out of this trend line right now. And if we're going to hit the target, I'd say it's right around our 74, 77, that zone to the upside. That's going to be our next major Bitcoin upside, where I would actually be looking for a bit of a short trade around this area. Now, remember, if we do come up to this area, we go back to the daily time frame. This is still a perfectly intact downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. And of course, if we start to flip this into support, then we could get a move back up to this area, right? But before we even think about a move back up towards 96, 97, 98, 74 is the level to be looking at. And I'll be honest with you, right now, Bitcoin seems like she just don't want to stop. We are coming up to a local area of resistance, which is this. If we take a look at all the volume that traded here, we are right at that high volume node. All right, that's why we're consolidating here. High volume node right here. However, we have to do the bearish divergence test. Do we see anything bearish on the 4 hour? The answer is no. In fact, quite the contrary. We see confirmed bullish divergence on the 4 hour. We come to the 1 hour. Do we see anything bearish? No. On the contrary, bullish divergence on the 1 hour. 24 minute. Do we see any bearish divergence? No. In fact, we're seeing money flow getting thicker. Bullish money flow at the low, way down here. All right. Hang on, that's the wrong thing. There we go. Yeah, so like this, honestly, in my opinion, this looks like this is going to be a bull flag that does eventually break to the upside. Now, that being said, I did take a scalp short from both of these levels, this one here and this one here, because I had some very low time frame signals. But I don't think they're going to amount to much, right? I've already taken some significant profits on them, and we're coming back up to my entries right now. In fact, yeah, we're coming back up to my entries right now. Let me just double check here what this will do to me. Oof. Yeah, let's lock in. Let's put this over the high like that. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. All right. So that is what is going on for Bitcoin right now, guys. You could see if we reclaim this level, and this was the level we were looking at yesterday, 68.5, coming up to these highs. The next major zone is going to be 71-ish, 72, and once we come up there, I don't see why we wouldn't make our way all the way up to the back test, $74,000 to $76,000. If you go ahead and pull a Fibonacci from the high to the low, you can see that we're also coming right into our Fibonacci golden pocket right there as well. Okay, so this breaks up for Bitcoin. We could see a fast squeeze first to the 72 area, but then my highest target would be the 74 to 76 area for another potential short trade. As for the long trade, you know, we were looking for a move down to this zone. We did front run that golden pocket. However, we did come down to tap into this naked point of control that we had here at around 65.078. That was actually the exact low of the move, 65.078. Take a look at this. We came down and pretty much yesterday bounced perfectly from 65.078 right here. Look at that. Got the perfect bounce. Some nice bullish divergence. And so it allowed me to add to this trade that I had opened from last Thursday. All right, so this is a big higher low potential right now. This is a big potential to squeeze these guys and make a higher high and come up to our next major resistance, which would probably be around that $74,000 zone. We pull the fib. Just curious, high to low. Let's see where that. Yeah, wow. Okay, so yeah, we already hit the golden pocket. Yeah, this is pretty nice. This is pretty nice. I'm thinking we could do something like this, guys. All right? I'm thinking we could do something like this for Bitcoin right now. I mean, all signs say bullish on all these time frames. All right? So that's what we're looking like on Bitcoin, baby. Again, I do have to remind you that my overall bias here for Bitcoin is bearish. I do believe we're in a bear market. I do believe, based on our 2-month or 1 week, all these things, that we are in a bear market, that we are eventually going to see the price come down lower. Again, is the bottom in? 25% yes and 75% no right now that the bottom is in. All right. Again, remember, on crypto Twitter back in November, I was saying I'm not going to buy Bitcoin until under 70K. Here we are, under 70K, and yes, I did buy my first spot Bitcoin since 2023 last week. And again, guys, remember, you should be excited and happy that we're in a bear market. People hate crypto in a bear market. They love crypto in a bull market. It should be the opposite, honestly. Now is the time to make money. Now is the real opportunity in crypto. The reason I say that is because sentiment is so low. People are so bearish. People have lost interest. Altcoins are dead, according to everybody on the internet. And Bitcoin's in a confirmed downtrend. What does this mean? Well, when you have an asset like Bitcoin, which is extremely bullish on the high-term time frames, right? Let's go to the 2-month time frame on Bitcoin, right? When you have an asset like Bitcoin, which is a massive uptrend, that really means bear markets are opportunities to make money, right? Even if you buy the top, it's an opportunity to make money. Ironically, we're at the if you bought the top in 2021, you're at break even right now, right? But if you bought the lows in 2022, assuming you got in around 20K, you are currently up 250%. And so what that means, guys, is as we're in this bear market, and our bear market target is this green box between $27,000 and $40,000, the 786 to 886 fib, which historically Bitcoin has always come down to in every single bear market. And assuming a very conservative bull market where we pump up only to $180,000, we're talking 400% gains, give or take, depending on our entry. And so my plan right now is to accumulate a position as Bitcoin drops, right? You remember in the bull market, Jason Casper was selling the pumps, all right? I was selling the pumps. I sold 80K. People said, Jason, what a fool. I sold 100K. Jason, what an idiot. I sold 120K. My 3 big sells. Jason, you stupid idiot. We're going to 200,000. Why would you sell Bitcoin? Do you hate your family? Why are you throwing away your family's future selling Bitcoin? It's because now, after I sold Bitcoin at 120K, I can buy back Bitcoin at 65K, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm accumulating a position slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. That way, I'm loading up here. And then when we start to pump, I can start to sell here. I can start to sell here. I can start to sell here, right? We're scaling in and we're scaling out. Bear markets are for buying because every time you get a big dump, right? You never know when you're buying the exact bottom, right? So if you get a little here, you get a little bit more here, you get a whole bunch here, well, now you got an average entry and you can now sell the pumps, right? 130K. Should I buy Bitcoin at 130K? I hear we're going to 500,000. Nope. Shouldn't buy it. You should wait. Right? But now's the time to start buying. I'm not telling you to put everything into Bitcoin now. Please don't misunderstand me because I have lower targets that I hope get hit. Right? But this is the time to start DCA. DCA, dollar cost average. So you get a good average entry on your spot for the next big pump, which happens every single time. All right, so this is not the time to be discouraged. This is the time to focus. This is the time to learn. This is the time. Bear markets are where the money's made, guys. You want to learn how to trade. Now's the time to learn how to trade in a bear market. Right, we have many resources. Free course on YouTube. All right, check it out. Casper Crew VIP Discord. All right. Wow, that's my juicy short trade taken from the all-time high setup given in advance. And this is the setup that we gave in the Casper Crew from 98,000, which actually is still open. If we go to the 4-hour here. Still short from 98K setup given in advance in the Casper Crew, baby. Up right now about $25,000. Wow, that's wild. That's wild. Close the short. Setup given in advance. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. Here we go. Setup given in advance on October 6th from the exact top. All right. And we locked that baby in. I actually closed it early by accident, but whatever. $36,000 in profits. All right. Another 25 in profits right here. This is the time to learn, guys. All right. Check out the free resources. If you want to join the Casper Crew, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com. Click the link to join the best trading community in the world. All right, so I'm looking for a move up on Bitcoin right now, and then eventually another move to the downside. And I'm looking for this thing to bottom out November, between July and November 2026, where I think we'll enter into another big bull market. All right, I want to take a look at silver. I want to take a look at gold. All right, silver and gold. First of all, These are some bullish charts, all right? These are some bullish charts here, all right? No egg word. There is an egg word. The egg word is yes. The egg word is yes. All right, you want some eggs in the Discord? Yes. 7.1K. I don't know if I can say that name. I don't even know if I can say that name. Let's take a look at silver, guys. All right, silver in a range here. Silver gapping down big time yesterday. Coming down to a very key zone, actually. If we take a look at the fib pull from the low to the high. Not that low to high. Hang on, let me get my silver chart on here. Here we go. Silver coming down to a very key zone of support right now. This was our hypothetical Fibonacci. But really the level that we are bouncing from is the high volume node of all of this here. Alright, so let's extend this to the right. Silver currently bouncing from the high volume node of this sideways range. Okay, I'm going to remove this TA now. Here's the deal with the silver. We have failed to make any kind of bullish market structure. This is the 1 hour time frame. After the catastrophic dump, we come up here. We basically make a lower high at 92. We make a lower low. Now we are coming back to this POC. If silver is going to continue to the upside, this is the place to be looking for a long trade. We pull a fib from low to high. We can see if we come down a little bit lower, we are going to be coming down to none other than the Fibonacci golden pocket and the 786 zone, right around $70 for silver. And that would be a really nice support. Technically, we're coming into it now, right? It was one of the levels we were looking at in the VIP Discord on Monday. I was hoping we would get a move to the upside first, but we didn't. And that reminds me to tell everybody to smash up the likes, because if we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour of the stream, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT. All right. Shout out to IMNSANE. Shout out to Crypto Titan. Could be an HNS on the 5-minute. People talking about these files in the chat, man. Look, I cannot comment on any of that stuff because I haven't been following it at all. I haven't been following it at all. So I have no opinion on it. But I will say this, you know, I'm in a phase of my life where I don't care what is going on in the news. I believe it's all theater. I believe whatever it is, if they're talking about it on TV, on news, even if it's alternative media, alleged independent journalists, it's all just a distraction. It's all just theater. It's all meant to make you feel certain emotions and give you negative energy to dislike somebody else. And instead of focusing on your own life, instead of focusing on your own business and your own family and making money to provide for your family and your community, you're wasting your mental energy thinking about things that you cannot control, and you're getting angry about things that will never be resolved. All right? There's bad people in this world. All right? The devil is the ruler of this world. All right? If you're not following Jesus, you're following the devil, whether you know it or you don't. So don't be surprised when there's horrible people doing horrible things and it's being exposed. But guess what? It'll be exposed. Nothing's going to happen. There's never going to be any justice. Nothing will happen. All right? So instead of following those types of stories, go ahead, take the free course. All right? Take the free course. All right? So that you can better yourself, better your life, better your family's life, better your community's life, and not have to worry about that other stuff that, let's be real, it's not going to affect your life in any way. You know? In no way, shape, or form will any of that information affect your life. It won't make you money. It won't lose you money. It won't give you health. It might take away from your health. It might take away from your money because you're worried about other stuff. You know what I'm saying? People fight over Trump and Biden and Obama and all this. You know, during Biden, I became a millionaire when Biden was president. I made more money under Biden than I did with Trump. I had more kids under Biden than I did with Trump. I had more happiness in my life under Biden than I did with Trump. I had better relationships under Biden than I did with Trump. You know why? Because I don't care about that. Enough of this. Enough of this. Now, shout out to Vegas Club. He says Jason's the kind of guy who rests a Tesla under the tunnel. Yeah, there's no justice, man. There ain't gonna be no justice. They bring these people out in the public just to mess with you. You think anything's gonna happen to the Clinton? Like, it's so funny. People are like, oh, I hear the Clintons are gonna get in trouble now. No, they're not. They own the freaking media. If anything in the media happens about the Clintons or anybody, it's there because they want it to be there. I mean, seriously, come on. Come on, man, as Biden would say. Now, silver. Let's go to a higher time frame, all right? Let's go to a higher time frame. Man, I'll be honest. If silver does not hold this high or low, then we're probably going to be coming down to a lower price. We are bouncing right now from this macro golden pocket. If we cannot make a higher low where we're at right now, the zone that we're at right now, I would not be surprised to see the price of silver coming back down to 55, all right? In fact, if we go to the weekly time frame, there is literally no support until we come back down to this consolidation right here. Now, this would be an insane opportunity. In my opinion, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Like, I'm a guy on the internet that doesn't even watch the news, all right? But I would say coming down to here, all right, that would be an amazing opportunity. Talk about a breakout and a retest of some insane support resistance flip. You know, you want to talk about high time frame signals here, like the cup and handle that we had that everyone talked about with the target of $100,000. You know, these high time frame signals, this is a giant cup and handle, right? We hit our breakout target of $100. Did I say $100,000? I meant $100 because, you know, that is what it is for silver. Let's go ahead and pull our target here, you know? Let's pull it up. Yeah, man, we hit and we surpassed, right? So now we have an amazing opportunity on a back test of this huge breakout and back test. Man! Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but what I am saying is when we come down to our 1 hour time frame for silver, right? And we recognize the fact that this right here, I lost my TA. Crap, man. I lost on my TA. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We come down to this level where we're looking for our bounce, right? If it doesn't hold, then we don't really have much until we come down towards this area here. All right, that's going to be 50K-ish. And which would be a major backtest of decade support resistance flip. All right. Now, the daily has downside. The 4 hour, honestly, we had a bullish divergence right here, which means this level must hold. All right. When you have a bullish divergence like this, a bullish div is where the price gets lower to key support, which we did. The momentum waves get higher, which we did. Gives us the coveted uneven cheek pattern, which we have. All right. When you print that next trigger wave right here, that needs to be the higher low. If it's not the higher low, this is bad. The money flow is trying to keep above the blue. You know, this, if we want to see silver pump, this green box must hold. And this green box is a valid place to look for juicy longs. But if we roll over here and this higher low doesn't hold, then I'd say the most probable is that we do come down to backtest that ancient support resistance flip from back in my day. All right, back in my day, where it was cool to have a mullet. I'm talking about the 80s, babies. The 80s, babies. Yeah, shout out to Joe. He says, I don't discriminate. I hate all politicians. You know. Yeah, I don't hate anybody, but I just don't regard politics, especially of the federal type, and anything that happens on the news. My initial response to everything is, this is propaganda. What is the purpose of this story being pushed right now? You always got to think of it that way. Whenever you hear of anything, and I'm sorry to be insensitive, but whenever you hear of anything, whether it be about people dying in tragedies, whether it be about politics, whether it be about criminals, and these stories are being pushed, your first thought should be, why does a think tank, propaganda think tank, want me right now to hear this? And what result do they want from pushing the story? That is what you need to think, all right? Because they don't push stories. They're trying to manipulate you emotionally. They're trying to turn your brain off. They're trying to manipulate emotionally to make you feel a certain way, to try and produce a certain energy from you, to try and steal your mental bandwidth, your spiritual bandwidth, to try and reduce your productivity, to try and put you in a state of fear, anger, stuff like that, you know? You know, this is a crypto channel. I'm supposed to talk about crypto. You got people out there, you know, some people go protesting. You're going out, you're driving, you're wasting your time, you're holding a sign. You're holding a sign. You're holding a piece of paper. Why don't you go out there instead of hold a freaking piece of paper, start a business, all right? Then you can make some money to maybe actually make a freaking change. You're holding your piece of paper. You wasted your gas money. You took off work. Why? So you could stand there and be angry? And no one else cares. No one else cares. You ever see protesters out there and you think to yourself, oh man, that's so interesting. Let me stop my car and go find out what's happening. Of course not. You don't give a crap. You got to go where you got to go. All right? All right. This is the crypto channel, man. So, and it's not just crypto, it's trading in general. Let's take a look at gold, baby. Let's take a look at gold. All right? Let's take a look at gold. Now, gold is an interesting one. Let me just come out the gate and say I am bullish on silver and gold in general. And what we have just seen happen, in my opinion, is exactly what you would expect after a big pump, right? You can't just go up forever, right? You can't just go up forever. So we have come down on gold, and this is quite interesting. All right, look at this. This is our weekly time frame. We were in this channel from October 24th, and then we broke out of the channel on January 20th. We get a massive pump. We come and we reject and we back test the bottom trend line of the channel here. All right, at 4,500. The bottom of the trend line is also the Fibonacci golden pocket. And now we are trading in this ascending channel right here. Now, this technically speaking is a bear flag. All right, let's clear off the chart. All right, technically speaking here, this is a bear flag. All right, let's just talk about where the potential target for the bear flag would be. Okay, depends on also how you want to draw the flagpole or whatever. Okay, but this is technically what is going on. We're bouncing from the Fibonacci golden pocket. We have this potential bear flag. Now, this potential bear flag, what would this do? If this plays out, this would take us back down to the historic lows that we had back in October. I mean, basically, we could give everything back. And in that case, what would we then be looking at? Now, again, I'm not saying this is going to happen. If you're coming to these charts to trade, you have to be thinking to yourself, where's the next best trade? Well, when you see a move up like this, it is quite unsustainable. All of this is liquidity. All of this is stop losses. I'm not saying we're coming down to $3,800, but what I am saying is if this bear flag plays out and hits the technical target, we have many stop losses here, which means we'd be coming back down to the bottom now of a sideways range. All right, where's the range to trade right now? It's this. Obviously, you know, look, we have this support resistance flip here. Resistance 1, resistance 2, broken out, back tested the Fibonacci golden pocket, right? We would expect this to hold. Now that we're forming a bear flag, we need to think, okay, if this bear flag doesn't break up, but it breaks down, where are we probably heading? Well, if we lose this support, then the next level is going to be around $3,900, which would allow us to come back down to the bottom of the old sideways range and look for a bounce from that area. Now again, when I do this analysis, I am not making predictions. I trade with if-then scenarios, and every good trader I know trades with if-then scenarios, all right? If the price comes to $97,000 and I see these things on the chart, then I can take a short trade, all right? That's how it works, right? If-then scenarios. We don't know what's going to happen, but we need to be prepared. And if you're not prepared, you are going to miss out on the volatility, right? Because when we're in free fall mode, right, people panic. But if you're prepared and you're like, you know what, I'm prepared to look for a setup here. I'm prepared for the price to wreck all these people, come down, dip below, and come back above. And if I see that happening, guess what? I have a trade set up on my hands. That's actually a pretty dang good risk to reward ratio. Even if we just stay trading in this range, this is a good risk to reward ratio, right? If we happen to come back up to this resistance, really great risk to reward ratio. You can be prepared, right? And I'm bullish on gold too. So if we do get a crazy move down, if we have some kind of black swan market dump effect, this, I mean, what an amazing opportunity, right? For gold, just saying, just throwing it out there. Now that is, look, I'm not, that is a pretty intense, that's a 20% drop from where we're at. But this candle here was a 20% drop, right? So from the top, that would be a catastrophic 30% drop for gold. What an amazing opportunity that would be, because gold is a bullish asset in general. I mean, you know, ever since the dollar went off the gold standard, the price of gold has gone up, meaning the value of your dollar has gone down. Gold has been a historic preserving, purchasing power preservation tool, right? So whenever you can get gold cheap, you know, it's good to do. So whether we're talking about spot buys or we're talking about trading, you know, that's a pretty dang good opportunity in my opinion as well. Stay sober, drink water, read books, Book of Proverbs. That's true. Yeah, don't get drunk, guys. It'll ruin your life. Everyone knows Bitcoin's going to $1 million. It's just a matter of time. The egg code word is yes. The egg code word is yes. This guy is exactly the guy thinking Bitcoin will go to $1 million. I mean, I do think Bitcoin will go to $1 million. I mean, here's the thing. I've seen Bitcoin go from $600 to $125,000. All right. I've seen it do crazy things. So is it so crazy to think that I could do less than a 10x? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. And let's also just acknowledge the fact that, you know, once the price starts pumping, when the price starts pumping, you know, people start to FOMO in. It has this big blow off top effect. So many people said Bitcoin would never hit $100,000. From our all-time high, let's just talk about percentage here. All right, from our previous all-time high, that is $1 million. That's only 700%. That's only 700%. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin go up 700% in the last bull run, right? I mean, we've seen it go up 700% from 2023 to 2025. It only has to go up 700%. It only has to do a 10x, right? So I think we can do that in a few cycles, all right? But maybe I'm wrong, you know? But it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It is weird right now to see Bitcoin at $69,000 and have it be a bearish thing, considering, you know, the price it was when I got in. I remember when Bitcoin hit $1,000, it was like a huge, like, wow. I remember 3K was huge, man. When Bitcoin hit 3K, I remember I went for a walk that night. I had so much energy. I was so hyped on the dopamine, watching that account go up, baby. You know, when the price starts pumping, the panties start dropping. Shout out to Dave Digital. He says, Vegas, the type of guy that borrows Jay's abs to do laundry. Man, that's funny, Dave Digital. Shout out to Dave Digital. God bless you, bro. It'll probably surpass 1 million. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, all of this liquidity, baby, on silver. We're talking about the liquidity at silver. 30K is going to be the low on Bitcoin. I feel like we'll front run 30K just because 30K is the perfect support resistance flip, right? Resistance in 2020, support in 2021, support in 2022, resistance in 2022, resistance in 2023, resistance in 2023, big break, right? Everyone's waiting for that. But when we pull the fib from the low to the high, I have to say that I am, now don't get me wrong, 30K is in that zone, but every time we come into that zone, right, every single time we come into that zone, we dip a little bit, not as deep into the hole, right? So, you know, the first time we dip real deep past 886, second time we just front run the 886, third time we dip down below the 786, and then the fourth time we just tap right into the 786. What the heck? Hang on. What did I do? There we go. Yeah, see, the fourth time we just dip, we just touched the 786. So that makes me think maybe we just dip below 40K, you know, maybe even front run the 786 this time, right? But yeah, definitely 30K is a very important target. It's right within the zone we would expect every single time. Every single time. Every single time. Bitcoin at a very key level right here. This is a big make it or break it here. This is a big make it or break it on Bitcoin right now, guys. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to a milli. Hope it does, though, says Jolenberg. Step count record. I think the most steps I ever did in a day was 57,000. 57,000. I think I did 2 live streams. I went on like a 8-hour hike with my wife, and then that night, just to see what I could do, I just walked to see what I could get. It was like 57,000 steps. And I'll tell you, I was tired the next day. I was tired. Did Crypto Lifer give me a ride in the Lambo? No. No. He said, do you want to go for a ride in the Lambo? And I said, nah, not really, man. He said, all right. And he said, I'm the first guy ever who denied a ride in the Lambo. But look, I you know, my wife was there. My kids were there. I don't want to leave them alone, go out in a Lambo. I don't know what's going to happen, right? And also, I'm not a car guy, you know? Might as well have been a Honda Civic. Might as well have been a Honda Civic. Yeah. You can't hear the sound of my footsteps? Yeah, I know. It's because I have a noise gate. If someone of religion is excited about money, I normally take a step back in caution from that person and situation. Well, you know what? I'd say there's a lot of things about what you see on your screen right now that would make me take a step back in caution, more so than the fact that I am a man who strives to follow Jesus, all right? And I am excited about money, okay? You know, I mean, look at what you see on your screen, bro. But I wouldn't consider myself to be one who gets excited about money. But when it comes to doing this, I get excited about it because I love doing this. You know, I love doing it. I'm very passionate about it. Like all traders know, if you're a trader and you've been doing this for years, you have to love it. And if you don't love it, you don't do it. All right? Because, guys, it takes a lot to be a trader. All right? It takes a lot. It is one of the most emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically challenging things a person can set out to do. All right? It will stretch you to your utter limits. You will laugh, you will cry, you will feel depressed, you will feel worthless, you will feel amazing, you will feel on top of the world. You will feel like, oh, I can do it now, and then you don't, right? You can make so much money, you can lose it all. And so if you're still here in the game after years, you have to thoroughly enjoy doing this. And I'm not even talking about money at all. I'm talking about doing technical analysis and finding and planning for those trades and using good risk management. You have to be happy about doing that. You have to be excited about that process. You have to enjoy doing it. All right? Because like I said, this will push you to your absolute limit in every way. You know, people glamorize trading, and it is glamorous at times, don't get me wrong. You know, I remember the first time I made a couple $1,000s in a hot tub, for example. I'm like, now this is what you see on the internet. But the majority of it is you sitting there dirty and smelly in front of a computer screen, lack of sleep, waiting for your level to hit, and it not hitting until you finally do go to sleep, and then you're pissed off that you missed the trade, right? And putting in your dues in the early days, learning how to control your dang emotions. Shout out to John Ploney. Have I bought anything on spot? Yes, I purchased my first spot Bitcoin last week. All right. Yeah, trading is a tough way, but it can be done. That's the thing. Shout out to we got Alex O Crypto in the chat. He says, "Gotta love the game." Alex O, he knows. All right, he knows, bro. Yeah, stanking from no shower. Yeah, seriously. You know. Shout out to Rafaz Jack. God bless you, my man. Lack of sleep and stinky ass, no good for trading. Yeah, I guess so. I think it's fine for trading. Alex O, man. If you're still here, bro, do you think we're going... Because I think we're probably going to come down between 30 and 40 for a bear market bottom by the summer fall. What do you think? Trading teaches you that you know nothing, yeah. It will try and break you and bankrupt you, and then it will make you love the process and teach you more about yourself than you may not. Yeah, it will show you a lot about yourself. All right, if you think you're disciplined, trading will show you that you're not. All right, that's why, you know, and everyone's different, but that's why I'm so big into fitness. That's why I'm so big into like every aspect of my life. I try and be very disciplined. That's why I don't eat processed food. Right? That's why I exercise regularly. That's why I do other things that require discipline and a process, right? It's like spirituality. You know, there's so many parallels between physical exercise and spirituality and trading. There's so many parallels, right? It's like you try and get healthy. You know, you do good for a week, 2 weeks, a month, New Year's resolution. Then you gain all the fat back, right? Or like spiritual discipline, right? Repenting of sin and struggling with that thing before the Lord until you have victory over it. You have victory over that vice. You have victory over that sin, that thing that's keeping you separated from God. You have victory over that. But it takes diligence. It takes diligence. It takes time repenting and wrestling with that thing before the Lord. Right? All right, let's see. Alex O, he says, I like the 47K order block. Too many looking at 30 to 37K. I feel you, Alex O. That's why I think we're going to front run. I think we're going to dip below 40, you know? Dip below 40. I have not bought any altcoins, all right? Wait until you stop following Jesus and start leading yourself. That's where true power is. That'll lead you right to destruction, my friend. That will lead you right to destruction. You know, there is true power in following the Lord, because the Lord is the one who created humanity, and he knows the way we should live, in which we will have the most prosperity and joy and blessing in life. And if we veer off of that, we're going to end up with misery and disappointment and dissatisfaction and unfulfillment in our short life. And so not only will you have blessing in this life by living it the way it was created to be lived, but you also have eternal hope of eternal life, right? So I used to lead myself. What a futile endeavor. Alex O, he says, yeah, that would be nice. He says, Jesus is king. God bless. Have a nice weekend. You too, bro. You too, bro. God bless you, my man. Nick, he says, we've seen a front run of the monthly 618 plus weekly 200 so far. The 58K region. Yeah, I agree. We did see that front run. That big macro front run. So let's go ahead and pull the fib, right? From the low to the high. Pull that thing from the low to the high. Put on the 618. Yeah, 57.7. We front ran that. And typically when you front run a 618, not all the time, but typically, it means the next time you come to it, you fall through it. You come to it to fall through it. Come to it to fall through it. We looked at silver, we looked at gold. We could take a look at ETH, okay? Here's the deal with ETH. Obviously, we're at major support. The $2,000 zone for ETH, guys, this was our resistance in 2021. Support, resistance in the bear market. We lost it. We got a bullish deviation. We made a new all-time high, only to come back inside the sideways range. If we lose 2,000, I do think we're going to come back down to the bottom of the sideways range, which is going to be this zone. All right, now, am I bearish on ETH? No, I also believe ETH is a bullish asset. All right, Ethereum, Solana, these are bullish assets. Smart contracts, the Ethereum network in general, bullish, right? I'm bullish on the technology, which means I'm bullish on the price. So therefore, for me, I have not bought any ETH on spot here. Why? Because I bought ETH on spot in November of 2022, and that's the last time I bought ETH on spot. And I didn't sell my ETH at 4.7K. It's very sad, I know. Instead, I was waiting for 5.5 or higher. So what that means for me is, I'm in from around here at the low. I'm not going to buy ETH again unless we come down to the low. Right? Because if this is one giant range, guess what that means? It means this is accumulation, right? This could be a giant accumulation range. If this is an accumulation range, that means I'm going to accumulate when we come down to the low, right? Right now, this is fair price. This is as fair as ETH has been since the beginning of 2021. So if I want to buy ETH at a completely fair price, I would buy it now. If I want to buy ETH at a completely discounted price, I would wait until we come into the bottom of the range. Is it guaranteed to happen? No. But I have not sold any ETH that I bought down here in November of 2022, and I am not going to buy ETH here. Instead, if this is the bottom, and again, there's a 25% chance that the low is in my opinion, 75% chance that's not, I do plan to sell the ETH I bought in 2022 when we break out. My first sell target is 5.5, then 7.5, and then 10K. And that's my plan for good old Ethereum. You know? So, this might be the beginning of a Bart Simpson shout out to Captain C-Mob. You heard good things from Crypto Crank? Man, I love Crypto Crank. He's going to be on my channel in a little bit. I forget exactly when. The USA... Now, the USA has never been a Christian nation. USA has been a nation full of Christians historically, but I don't think the USA has ever been a Christian nation. I think that term has kind of just like been propagandized to make certain people feel a certain way, right? If you're a follower of Jesus, then your kingdom is not of this world, and Jesus' kingdom is not of this world. And the United States government has never been Christian. Neither has the country. Did I say I use BLOFIN to trade gold and silver? Yeah, you can use BLOFIN to trade gold and silver. Check it out. And guys, just a quick reminder. You can trade gold and silver on BLOFIN. You can trade a lot of stuff. TradFi, a lot of TradFi. All right, stocks, Tesla, Robinhood, MicroStrategy, Amazon, Circle, Coinbase. You can trade on BLOFIN, and BLOFIN is offering the lowest fees that they offer if you use my link. And I'm not just saying this to show my link, guys. They are offering historically low fees that they've never offered anybody else if you use my link. Because I said, look, the Casper crew, we scout, baby. We need those low fees. They said, we got you, Jay. BLOFIN, KCEX, ANTARCTIC, baby. Those are where I'm trading right now. BLOFIN, KCEX, and ANTARCTIC. That is where I'm trading right now. And pretty soon on ANTARCTIC, we'll be able to trade gold and silver and all that stuff as well. All right. Yeah. Yeah. What are my thoughts on silver? I kind of already did. I did the silver tea already, but overall, a major opportunity below 50K. I think an absolute historic opportunity to get in if we happen to come down there. But if we make a higher low where we're at right now, that's also a good sign for more upside. Guys, GHPL is a Pastafarian. His god is a flying spaghetti monster that wears a colander as a hat. Please respect my belief. Very clever and very original and very funny joke. I'm very surprised you were able to come up with that. Good job. Guys, make sure to respect all Pastafarians in the chat that worship the flying spaghetti monster. How much initial capital to start a Bitcoin trade? It doesn't matter. It could be $1, it could be 100. What's the best US exchange without KYC? I mean, centralized exchanges, I'd have to say BLOFIN is a great one. Is Bit2Next KYC still? I think they're still non-KYC. That's a legit one. It depends on what you want. So if you want a combination of everything, like all things considered, BLOFIN, man. BLOFIN. If you're looking for something that's even better to use with lower fees, but it's a little bit riskier, KCEX. All right. If you're looking for a DEX where you hold all your stuff on your own wallet, ANTARCTIC. All right. MEXC and BingX, they went the way of KYC. All right. You know, went the way of KYC. Jason, man, looking for some rejection at 69.4 or 800. Do I see that? 69.4. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. You mean a bounce from 69.4? Did we 69.4? Oh, a rejection. Oh, we didn't even come up to 69.4 yet. Yeah, could absolutely happen, honestly. Like if we just range here, form a little bit of a range, and we come up again with more bear divs, yeah, for sure. That could be setting us up for the good old-fashioned Bart Simpson pattern. Here's a picture of him. You know, the good old Bart Simpson pattern. The GOBSP. The GOBSP. Yeah, you could do it with Apollo ID. Shout out to our super chats. First of all, Jorge Lewis, he says, "Hi Jason, regards from Panama." God bless you, Jorge. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Shout out to Javier. He says, what about MEXC and BingX? Are they safe? Yeah, they're fine. It's just they now require KYC. All right, they now require KYC. Guys, the egg code today is yes. If you want eggs in the Discord that are redeemable for cash prizes, the code is yes. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. All right, guys. I've got to head out. God bless you all. I love you all. In Jesus' name. Pastafarians, atheists, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, agnostics, all my brothers and sisters in humanity, I love you all. And may God bless you all. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Remember to put important things first in your life, right? Don't let the urgent come before the important. Family before family, God first, family second, relationships, and then after that, work. So make sure to rest. Tomorrow is Shabbat. God bless you guys. Peace.